going. It's right here, there, everything's good. So let's go into that. As the crowd was pressing in on Jesus to hear God's word, he was standing by the Sea of Galilee. He saw two boats at the edge of the lake. The fishermen had left them and were washing their nets. He got into one boat, which belonged to Simon, and asked him to put out a little bit from the land. Then he sat down and was teaching the crowds from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put into the deep water and let down your nets for a catch." "Master," Simon replied, "we've worked so hard all night long and caught nothing. But at your word I will let down the nets." And when they did this, they caught a great number of fish, and their nets began to tear. So they signaled for their partners to come over and to help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. When Simon and Peter saw them, they fell to their knees and said, "Go away from me, because I am a sinful man, Lord." For he and all those who were with were amazed at the catch they had. So were James and John. Jesus said to them, "Don't be afraid. From now on you will be catching people." Then they brought the boats to the land and let everything down and followed him. All right, that gave us more in detail, right? It was a little bit longer story, but it was just spoke at two different angles. There was somebody telling it in one area, just gave you a short story. This is the long, okay? Well, this is the one we're going to dive into, because this is the one that has the truths that that God told me about today. So first things first, I want you to, if you're able to write in your journal, go ahead and put your parentheses around 5:1 all the way to 3. 5:3.
Luke?
So we go back 5.
Matthew or Luke?
Oh no, we're still in Luke. We're going to hang in Luke, okay? I'm sorry. We're in Luke 5:1 all the way to 3, where you see a little 3 beside it. Put in parentheses. As the crowd was pressing in on Jesus to hear God's word, he was standing by the Sea of Galilee, and he saw two boats at the edge of the lake. The fishermen had left them and were washing their nets. All right. So there was two guys. There was a boat. In this moment, we're going to come back to this in a little bit. But right now, you got these boats that are out there, and Jesus is getting so much pressure from outside people. There's so many people following that he can't speak because people are right here in his face. So what he had to do was he had to find something that he could get away from the crowd so that he can speak to everybody. It would be really hard for me to be pressed up in here. We were all sitting right here, and I was talking to you right there face to face. It's better for me to back up a little bit so that everything can be done. People are wanting to hear God's word at this moment. And Jesus has such a power. One thing that we need to know is Jesus' powerful words were being spoken so much that people were just falling in. Such a huge crowd. But I want you to take note that the people that are the main people in this whole time right now aren't even there. They're washing their nets in the water right now. They're outside of the boat. They're not even paying attention to the crowd. These people that are pressing in. The people in a few minutes that we're going to talk about the most aren't even in this area. But something God has for them, how he connects them together, is right there in front of them. Now let's keep going. He got into one of the boats, which belonged to Simon, and asked him to put out a little from the land. Then he sat down and was teaching the crowds in the boat. All right. Jesus at this moment, you never know when Jesus is going to intercept your life. One thing is, you're out there, Simon and them are just washing the nets of the fishing. Here comes a crowd of people, here comes Jesus, and all of a sudden Jesus impacts their life. He steps in front of him and says, "Can I get in your boat?" Some of you, before this year even started, you had no clue that we were going to have a Bible study like this or anything. But God interceded. Somehow or another, God's put it on your heart for you to be here. Jesus, you had a one-on-one encounter with Jesus saying, "I need to draw you in here." You didn't have this plan. This was not something you had planned. Well, if you had been here last year, you had an idea. But Nobody else had an idea that this was going to happen. So we're not sure exactly when Jesus is going to say it. The thing is this, what happens if Peter at this time said, no, I've got so much other stuff that I need to do that you can't stand in my boat. My boat is so filled up with all of my other stuff, Jesus, I don't even have a place for you to sit. What happens in our lives right now is most of you have homework, you have school, you have all of this. Guys, just like tonight, you have everywhere else in the world to be. But when God intercepts your life, when Jesus gets face to face with Jesus, and all of a sudden, there's room in that boat for Him. Okay? There's room for the boat to have a little bit of Jesus. There's room in your life to have a little bit of time. All right? And He got you here. I see this as just the exact same way as Jesus was to walk up and to stand on their boat. You've got an opportunity, and God has brought you in His presence in this moment. All right, let's keep going. When He had finished speaking, He said to Simon, "Put out into the deep water and let down your nets for a catch." Well, there's two things on this, okay? These guys, we just saw them. What are they doing with the nets? What were they doing with the nets?
Washing.
They're washing. They're washing them out. What does that mean if you're washing the nets? Are you going to go wash the nets? Am I going to get a shower before I go to the gym?
They're done.
Am I going to do anything where I'm washing the nets, all right? So washing the nets means I'm fixing to go out there and try to catch fish with them. No, my thing is this, I'm drying them out. I'm done. I'm done for the day. Second thing is this, back then they only fished at night. You did not catch any fish during daytime. Okay, so I want you to take hold of that and really think about this. Jesus is asking them to do something. What is our first response? What is my response on this? Are you kidding? I just washed these things. Did you not see me washing the nets? Jesus, I don't have time for that. I just did this. That's crazy. I don't have time for you. I don't have time for this in that moment. Some things in life, Jesus seems a little bit crazy. All right? It's a little bit crazy for us to spend a Monday night right now whenever you have homework to do, when you have sports that are coming up and everything else, for you to be here, listening to me speak and having rap music, okay? It's a little bit weird. God's called you to do something a little bit strange. All right? Just like go let those nets, let's go pull those nets back in that you just got nice and clean. Now let's go back out here and dirty them up. All right? Let's keep going just to see where God's got us working on this, okay? Master Simon says, "We've worked all night long and caught nothing." Let's just stop right there. That's exactly what I've been. Are you serious? No, there ain't nothing out there. I just watched it. We watched it, but we really didn't have to because we didn't catch anything. All they are dirty from the mud. All right? It's crazy. God's asking us to do a crazy thing. Next is this. He goes, "But at your word I will let down the net." Here we go. Whenever God interacts in our life, He's going to ask you to do something a little bit crazy. But if you told me to come to this Bible study, if you told me and actually pricked my heart to do it, God, I'm going to at least show up. Coach Austin has bugged me all week long to come here. I'm just going to at least show up. All right. Just to prove this to you, Jesus, I'm going to let the nets down, and there ain't going to be no fish, and then I'll say, ha, there ain't nothing going on, all right? Because this is crazy. For the first thing, nobody is fishing. All those people on the hill, right now they're thinking it's pretty dumb. Are you serious? They're probably laughing at him, all right? Listen, I've had people laugh at me because I'm having a Bible study with students right now. Man, you won't have anybody show up. I actually had somebody tell me that one time. They said, yeah, good luck with that. With this way the kids are nowadays, you won't have anybody. It's crazy. This is crazy. What we're doing is crazy. This is mini church is what this is, guys. Okay? You're going to church on a Monday night. It's crazy. You didn't hear hymns. You just heard rap music. That's crazy. Hey, if I'm following Jesus, guess what? I'm a little bit crazy, all right? Got it. I'm a little bit crazy. Y'all won't know it anyway. All right? So, let's keep going. "But at your word, I will let down the nets." God, I don't know exactly who you are, really. You're speaking to me. You've called me to do this. I'm not quite sure who this Jesus person is Coach Austin keeps talking about. He's in love with or something. This is really weird. But you know what? If this is something that you've got in my life, please just give me a little bit of a sign about it. Let me talk to my heart about it. Let me just at least open up my heart. I'm at least opening up my heart in this moment. It's the same thing with just letting out a mess, okay? If this is something that you really called me to, I don't even know if this is real. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my heart, and God, I will ask for you to at least talk to me about this. I told you all last week, one thing that I'm going to say over and over again, what's your relationship status on Facebook with Jesus? If you had a relationship status and you wanted to say it and you wanted to pronounce it, is it complicated? Is it none of your business? Is it, I don't know, I'm at least open my heart. I don't know what he is. I don't even know who he is. I don't know one story in this book. But man, he's called me to at least come to this thing and hear who he is and at least see if my heart can open up to it, because all my mind in my life has told me something different. It's crazy. It's a little bit different. Well, this is Jesus.